It's Monday, which means I'm here. I've had a very long day at school, so be wary, I'm kind of tired, a little bit out of it, so. One of our fellow vloggers challenged us to tell us about our inspiration, and I wanted to tell you about my inspiration, who is kind of not worthy of being my inspiration, which sounds incredibly bad, but it's good. I promise, it's good. And this person is my 8th grade English teacher from last year, and I'm going to call her Mrs. M for safety's sake and her privacy. She was my 8th grade honors English teacher, and she couldn't have hated me more. Honestly, I don't know what I did, but she really hated me. She absolutely adored my best friend, who, if you knew us, like seeing us interact and actually seeing us alone when there isn't other people around, we are identical in personalities, loudness, and craziness and weirdness. She absolutely hated me and would constantly make me feel inferior and awful and gross, and I would come to that class feeling like I was coming into a prison, and when I left that classroom, I feel like I was going to cry my eyes out and just curl up in a ball and die. So, and this wasn't the students in the class, it was the teacher. She would pick on me, she would tell me things that she didn't say to other students, like I showed her my writing because I'm very passionate about writing, and I've always thought I was very talented with it because that's the one thing that I loved and that's the one thing I like to do constantly. And so when I showed her these writings back in 8th grade, she shot them down. Quite harsh. She told me that they weren't good and that they wouldn't get me anywhere, that basically I sucked at what I thought I was good at, and so that kind of discouraged me to stop writing, and this year has been a lot about me trying to get that courage to write again and to find the motivation to do it in my story. She also, after tearing down my faith in my writing, she decided to move on to my other passions, which at the time were photography, art, and dancing, and sometimes singing. She told me that my photography was very boring, very bland. It looked like the person who was holding the camera didn't know what they were doing. And let me just insert a couple photos here so you can see. And she said that they were awful, and that made me feel really bad because I really liked my photography, and I really liked my camera, and I really liked the pictures I take with them. And then she proceeded on to bash my art, which was a big hit, and I lost a lot of what knowledge I had gained from that year of taking all these art classes and learning how to draw because of her, and now my art has basically dwindled down very less significant than what it was before. And now I've actually am back to art and back to drawing and back to all the things I love with a very higher passion because of what I felt like I needed to do. Because she told me I couldn't do all these things, it was kind of my reaction by the end of the year to prove her wrong and to do every single one of the things and do it phenomenal and be the best I can be at it, and just to prove her wrong because I was so miserable in her class. By the end of that year, by about 2 months until I was going to be ending, between that period of 2 months, I was crying after every class. I was trying so hard to get one of the teachers to let me sit during their class in their room and not let me be in hers, and just to have someone help me. And I even recorded some of the stuff she said to me, and I showed it to the principal, and nothing was done. And I'm not the first student this has ever happened to. This has happened to many students in the past, some even worse than I am. And frankly, as much as I hate her, and as much as I really don't want to thank her, she's kind of the reason why I strive to be so good at what I want to do. And I really honestly do hate Mrs. M. I really do. She wasn't a good teacher at all. She didn't teach me anything that I didn't already know in that class. So yeah. She did, though, inspire me to do what I need to do and to do it well, but she still hates my guts. She saw me one day when I was going to visit a teacher, and she told me that my blue hair looked like somebody had puked on my head. Thanks. I love you too. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.